Hi folks! It seems you are done with your annotated bibliography since you're watching this video, meaning that you have gathered a bunch of sources and considered their relevance and importance to your topic, which is great. Now you're about to move on to the note-taking phase, so hopefully you have a lot of good sources that you can use for this purpose. Of course, you can always go back and find more sources if you determine that that's something that you're going to need. First, I just wanted to show you how the notes work. So when you're at this page, you can go to the word notebook, or you can pull down here and go to notebook. Now, I've done a sample project here on the Olympic sport curling. It's that kind of strange Olympic sport on ice that kind of looks like shuffleboard with the sweeping, and anyway. I had a bunch of sources that I pulled, and I started taking notes from them here. So I just wanted you to see what the notes page looks like. As you can see, I have 4 different categories of notes. These are my 4 subtopics for my curling paper. The first is curling in the Olympics. Another is the rules of curling. Then I have a category about the delivery, which is like the pushing of the puck or whatever it's called across the ice. And then sweeping, the techniques for sweeping. So for each of these categories, as you can see, I have a bunch of notes saved in the categories. And of course, you want to be sure that when you get to the point where you're ready to write your paper, that you have enough notes in every category. If you don't, that might mean you'll need to go back and find additional sources to kind of complement what you've got and supplement what you've got. Okay, just to show you how it works, if I go into one of my note groups, I can see all of my notes in that group a little more clearly. Let's go into the rules group. As you can see, I have 4 notes here about rules, and if I double click on any one of them, I can see them in larger format. For each note, I have a title of the note. That's a title that I make up based on the content of the note. It's not the title of the source, it's not the title of the article, it's a title of the note based on the content of the note. Down here, you have the ability to say what source it came from. This is going to be essential because when you go to write your paper and you're using the information from your sources, you're going to have to internally cite. So you will need to know what source it came from. The next is the area for direct quote. This is where you get to copy and paste your quote in. And that will be good because later you might end up using a direct quote. On the other hand, later you may want to use a paraphrase of that note. So in the paraphrasing section, you are able to type and write your own information down. Now I will say you are required to do both direct quotes and paraphrases for every note you take for this project. So please use both of these fields. If you wanted, you could put a comment in. That's optional. Identifier is only needed if you're in a book and you need the page numbers. So that was where you would indicate page numbers if you're in a book. The Organize section down here allows you to group your notes. So here you see I have these 4 different categories: sweeping, delivery, Olympics, and rules, and I can select which one this note goes in. Down here is the color coding area. So you can actually color code your notes if you want. Okay, now I can look in Visualize View or I can look in List View. List View allows me to see all of my notes by category and allows me to see them bigger. And I can go ahead and edit at any time to get back to this screen. Now, how to make a new note. Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is go into your bibliography, go to a source from which you want to take notes. I'm going to go to this one. It's a Gale article from the Christian Science Monitor, the perfect Winter Olympic sport, curling, really. I'm going to go back to my article. I'm going to scan it and determine what fact I want to take out from it. Excuse me. Perhaps this paragraph here is something that I feel would be useful in my paper. It's talking about how curling is age and gender friendly. The 2 oldest members of the U.S. men's and women's Olympic teams are curlers. It's not about strength and speed, but about skill, technique, and strategy. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my EasyBib. I'm going to get into my notebook. I'm going to click New Note up here in the upper left. First thing I'm going to do is paste in my direct quote. If I want to, I can even put quotation marks around the direct quote so I can remember that it truly is somebody else's words and not mine. The next thing I want to do is say the source from which it came. Now, you can't really see this pop up because of the video recording, but you would see a list here and you would select which source it came from. Let's pretend that this is the source from which it came. Of course, we know it was really that Gale article, the perfect Olympic sport. You're going to title your note. This is, again, something that you are making up on your own, not age or gender specific. Down here is where I can paraphrase. Men and women of all ages can compete equally in this Olympic sport. Two oldest Olympic teammates are curlers. Okay. If I want to, I can add a comment and again an identifier. I am going to want to go down here to the Organize section and select the group from which this or to which this should be added. It's going in the Olympics group. Then I can again color code if I want and save my note. Now as you can see, it added it to the Olympics group. If I want at any time, I can edit this note. I could change the grouping. If I say none selected, it's always going to put it in the upper left-hand corner. They're going to stack up here, so sometimes it looks like they're lost, and that can be annoying. But then I can always drag it into a group. Okay. Now let's say I need to make a new group. Let's pretend that this one is not grouped. It's just out here in Never Never Land, and let's pretend this one is not grouped and is out here in Never Never Land. Let's say that these two really do belong together in a new group. So I want to make a new group. All I have to do, let me just see, I want to close these groups out just so you can see. Okay, let's say I want to put these two in a group together. The easiest way to make a group is drag one on top of the other. It makes it an untitled group, and then I can name the group here. Then I can drag the group anywhere I want on the page. So taking notes in EasyBib is as easy as that. If you have any questions, please come ask me. At the end, obviously, you should have, I would say, a good quantity of notes in each of your groups, and each of your subtopics should be fully addressed. Again, go back and find other sources if you need to. When you are totally done, you have the option to print your notes by clicking Print over here and making sure Notes is outlined here or checked, and click the Next button. Right now we're not printing these other things. Well, let's keep notes with data. And now I have my list of notes. Here I'm on delivery, then I'm on the name of the group, the Olympics group, and finally the rules group. And I can go ahead and print this out. I could even edit it by putting my name on top. If I want to, I can copy and paste this into a Word document so I could save it, put my name on top and all that. And then you're done. So that's kind of a nice way to get your notes all together and grouped. Now, when you're done doing your notes, you'll want to watch the video on outlining, because outlining is very easy in EasyBib. It will take you just a few minutes once you're done with your notes.